Hello, my friends. How are you doing? How's your summer going? My name is Doug, and I'm coming to you from Albuquerque in the very hot desert of New Mexico. I just shut off the air conditioning, and I hope it's going to be fine, not for you, but for me, because last episode or the one before, I forgot to close my door and the cicadas were so noisy that it really bothered some of the people, some of the viewers out there. So today, peace and quiet and a sweaty duck for you. Yes, where do I start? It's been a busy summer for me. I'm always knitting, never not knitting. And I have right now some wholesale orders. I have my husband and my daughter traveling together, and I did want to start off by, because I did my New Mexico tax report on my grocery receipts, I wanted to thank everybody who has purchased yarns, of course, but also I just I came across again all the people who purchased my cowl pattern in February after that release, and I wanted to thank you for that, because I saw all the names, in the report for the sales, all the names pop up, and I'm like, oh, I know a lot of you out there who purchased it, and a lot I don't know, but you probably know me through the podcast, and I just wanted to thank you. And also I wanted to thank you for purchasing my other patterns in the past, and also just now I have sold a pattern that's been super old, and I think it was one of my very first ones that I put up on Ravelry, either the first or the second. And like I said, I just sold one. And so I thought, oh, I'm just going to bring that and show you how it looks like in person. And it's not very well written. I think it has only 3 sizes. But I remember back then someone's like, what's the gauge? And I'm like, oops, didn't even put the gauge in there. But it's really a cute one. It doesn't go very well on over the top that I'm wearing right now, but I think it's a very nice, what's a good term? A good addition to a wardrobe, especially if you wear dresses. That's what I wore it on. So thank you to whoever just purchased this pattern. It's very cheap because it's so poorly written. I mean, not poorly written, not really, really poorly written, but there is room for improvement. Let's put it that way. And in case you're like, oh, but what are you wearing? This is nothing that's available online or published. It is something that I made up a few years ago, and I cannot even tell you what gave me the idea, but maybe I had this beautiful yarn and I thought, oh, I got to do something with it. What can I do that works in summer? And so, hold on. I even seamed it, so it's really old. And I rediscovered it because I have this yarn that I wanted to make something out of, and initially I thought a vest, and I thought, do I ever wear vests? Not really, especially a summer one, And so with this yarn, I thought, I got that in, I think south of Phoenix at that Isabel's Yarn Parlor. I think that's what it's called. And and so I remembered it, and I thought, wow, I gotta pull that out, and I wanna make another one of these, because it's really, once I put the top on, I thought, well, I gotta see how it wears, if I like it still, and put it on, and I thought, wow, that really looks good. I don't know what you think. I'm not following fashion at all, so I have no idea if this is in style, or if you're like, oh man, that is so outdated, the waterfall color, I think they're called. But I'm thinking I want to make another one, and then I got distracted after I did a swatch. But I brought the swatch for you because I really thought this has to be washable. And I wanted to see how the fabric looks, especially then after washing. And it shrunk a little bit more in my row gauge. Yeah, and I did throw it in the dryer. And I am pretty much set on the larger needles because I'm gonna want a flowy fabric. But what I'm gonna change this time around is that I'm thinking at this point, I'm thinking top down, but then to connect the pieces right away, to pick up the stitches, to go down in the back. And you may want to see this. It has a little bit of a racer back, and then definitely I do want to knit in the round once I am under the armpits. And this is how it looks like in the back. I hope you could see that. Okay. There's one issue with this, and you could probably figure it out once you think about it. There's a lot more fabric in the front, which means there's also more weight in the front. So you have to, when you wear it, correct it a little bit and pull it down in the back occasionally, or make it longer in the back. I haven't decided yet. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, so that's my summer top. And the Barocco Isola is a yarn that has cotton, linen, and viscose. So I'm thinking it would be equally drapey. Unfortunately, I have no idea. And I remember looking through my notes, my knitting notebooks, and all my old ones, and I did not find anything, and I did not put it up on Ravelry. So unfortunately, no idea what this was, but I would assume something similar in fiber content to this one. Yeah. So that is one thing that, something that I wanted to say about what I'm wearing, but also what I'm planning to do. And then, what have I been working on? I have for a good while I was, after the last podcast, I was really working on my crochet blanket. And it's kind of funny because I saw it on a fellow podcaster's on a YouTube episode, which made me want to start my own, and I did that, and I've been working on it. And you can probably relate, if you sometimes crochet, that it's a very different rhythm, and it's very relaxing to crochet from time to time. So I've been I'm using mainly DK yarns, a lot of commercial sock yarns, but occasionally I throw in something hand dyed if it's a leftover or something, but it has to be super wash. And so this is where I am. And if you Google granny stripe or do a search on YouTube, you'll find the video. Unfortunately, I didn't keep track of it. And I made mine fairly wide with, I think I cast on about 300 stitches. Yeah. And it's so fun. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I remember working on this when it still was a little cooler, especially in the evenings. So when we had windows and doors still open at night, I would just, because it put it over my legs. Yeah, that was nice. And I haven't touched it in a while, but I am still equally excited about it. Yeah. And the other thing is I have, I need to get that. Yes, there's another blanket in a box because that's where the crochet blanket lives. There's also my knitted blanket. And there is a German podcaster, Barbara, who called a blanket knit along. So I thought, let's just pull this baby out too and add a few squares. And yeah, you don't always need to. I'm not gonna always show it to you because it's growing so slowly, but I have these 3 that are new squares added. And if you know me, if you've been around, you're gonna remember this has been, oh yeah, one more, I thought so. I've been working on this for many, many years. Yes. Maybe 8. But whatever, it is what it is. I still enjoy it when I work on it, and I probably sometimes do just 1 square per evening. Try to get that done. Yes, and then I just signed up for another market in December. And so all of a sudden I got a little bit nervous because I know for the High Desert Studio Tour, which is going to happen in November, by the way, this year, a little bit earlier. I'll keep you posted on that for my local peeps. But the market that I signed up for, I'm thinking, ooh, that's going to be the time of year where people were outside even. And while the High Desert Studio Tour, a lot of the people have purchased my fingerless mitts already. And so I thought, I never feel the need to go crazy to make more of them. But with that other market, I thought I gotta build some stock. And so I pulled out my yarns and I have been making some more. These you have already seen. I just pulled them out to make, to add the tag. But also I'm gonna do the same one. I started the same one. I mean, same yarn, different mitts. And sometimes I need to tell you that sometimes, especially when you work with mohair, what happens is that you get a very dense fabric. And it might be a good idea to knit up a pair that's looser and a little more airy. I don't know. I do like both. I think both have their purpose. So these are the denser ones. They would be too small for me for sure. But now I went up a needle size and also kept the stitch count as far as I remember. And so these are going to be looser. I just started those. And others I have finished, but not woven in the ends. Got these. I held I think it's a DK yarn that I held with, no, let me put that on my left hand. A DK yarn with mohair. And same here. And here is another pair where it happened that they're very dense, but they're going to be that, which means they're going to be warmer than the others. And if you wonder what is that pattern, that's a free pattern that I put up for you on Ravelry, and it's there available in English and in German, and the pattern name is Duke City Mitts. Yeah. Duke City Mitts. I will again host a knit along for the Duke City Mitts starting in December, and just like in the past years, it will run until the High Desert Studio Tour. Yeah, and you can win some yarn. Yeah, what next? I was still plucking away on my beautiful Rafaga shawl. I'm working on this with a lace yarn. Sorry, I'm just moving things gently so I'm not being too noisy. That's the shawl. And I had seen that at my yarn store and fallen in love with it. And so I'm working on it, a Malabrigo pattern. But I'm telling you, this grows so incredibly slowly that I think I'm using 3mm needles, but I will get it done because I really want it. Where's the middle? Hello? Oh, right here. Yeah, I mean, it's, lace. It'll block out nicely. So I'm already in the second section. So pretty. So I have to repeat this until I'm getting to the last section. Yes. And then what happened? You're gonna say, you had so much time. What happened? That's not a lot of knitting. Yeah. Well, the Rafaga shawl was a lot of knitting. It was really slow. When I sat down in the evenings and did my usual thing, turned on a movie, started knitting, sometimes really just 4 to 6 rows. It's slow, but whatever, that's fine. And then, like I said, I started the Dukes because I had this panic attack, and then I thought, what am I gonna do? I was literally bored with everything. And it just happened that I decided, okay, I cannot continue like this. I need to have a little more fun and excitement in my knitting life. I was also spinning a lot. That's right, that's what I did. Because for the Tour de Fleece, I spun a lot. I tried to spin. No, not tried. I spun every single day, and I had some spinning goals, and I met those just for myself. And I those yarns I will show you in a separate episode. I decided it's going to be a little bit much for today, so that'll be a separate episode together with my rug hooking project. But you guys, like I said, I was just tired of being monogamous, and so I went to Ravelry and I bought 3 patterns. Yes, even though I also still would like to make a ballet wrap for my daughter. Oh, yes, let me show you that one first. In case let me refresh your memory. She wanted a pale buttery yellow, and so I dyed up this Suri alpaca silk blend. The base is called Velvet, and I held it. I tried. I wanted to see how that works out with some lace yarn. This has an insane yardage of 1,100 yards, so I knew it was going to be great. And then I did some swatching. But what I used, again, I think is really too dense. It creates too dense of a fabric. So I'm even going to go up a needle size, either 5, or I may even try 5.5, because this is only 4.5. So, and I had already purchased a pattern on Ravelry, but then I found out it's not gonna work. The gauge is so different. One should read the information about a pattern before one purchases that pattern, especially if sometimes you come up with stuff like this yourself. Yeah, I wrote this a very long time ago. So long ago that my business name was still different, and it was my old business name that I had for a short period of time. And this has even less sizes than my little one here. I didn't tell you the name. Hopefully I remembered and put it on the screen for you. But this one only has 2 sizes. It has no gauge information, and it has does it say? I didn't even have a cell phone back then. Wow. Yeah. Well, I think what I used for this one is 8mm needles. So I'm gonna just kind of like use this as a rough draft for Fiona's ballet wrap. Yeah, so, but now finally to the exciting stuff. The first thing I started is this shawl. And hello. So there's a few problems with this. I mean, not pattern problems. I'm fine with making this, but there's 2 things when you look up this shawl. It's called The Sun Also Sets is the name of the pattern. And I'm thinking, okay, 3 things that bothered me a little bit. Okay, for one, it's a name that I felt was hard to remember. 1. 2, I believe that these are the only pattern pictures on Ravelry. Yeah. And then resulting from that is the third problem, which of course, I mean, no designer has any say in that, but there's no projects. It's usually something that I always look for. I look in the projects on Ravelry and look how does it look like with knitted up by different people. And really, because especially when you don't really see how something looks like, but something, I don't know, something attracted me with this. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be a daredevil. Not really, come on, right? I'll do it. And maybe it's just gonna be a fun knit. I like that shape, an asymmetrical triangle where you start on one side and increase, and yeah, we'll figure it out together. And I thought, hey, this is going to be amazing. She has used, I think, 2 or 3 different yarns, and I thought, hey, I'm going to use my leftovers. I'm going to dig into my mini skeins and have fun combining them in a similar way as I did my my sweaters that I made a few years ago. And this is where I am right now. And if you cannot see this, I'm getting hotter and hotter. So I may have to take a break, run the AC for a minute before, but maybe you're fine. I'm fine. It's okay. We'll get through this together, right? Yeah, and this is where I am right now. I had so much fun pulling out my minis and my leftovers and combining them. I think I made a mistake in the pattern here, and I don't think it shows. And so I just left it the way it was. It's with the eyelet section in the second eyelet section here, whatever. And you're going to say, so how do you do this, Doc? So this is the mini that I'm using right now. This was actually a gift from a friend in Germany, Claudi. Yeah, as well as the very first one. And if you wonder why is this so floppy, I washed it because this felt very dense when I knitted it up, and so I thought I wanted to see that it's really gets a little more drapey when it's washed and blocked. And so here are my yarns, and this is what I did, you guys. I arranged them. Okay, let's see, come on. I just don't want to get them off of my string here. I arranged them in a line on the table, and I will just keep going and see how far I get in the pattern. I did not even weigh them. I do not know how much this is, but I have created a kind of like a fade in a way, but then I threw in something that's a little bit wild and unexpected. That's what I usually like this one. It doesn't fit into the fade, even though there is yellow next to it. And also this spearmint green in between. And then I really want to use this one that was a leftover. Can't remember where I got that from, but it's so beautiful. As well as this one. I hope I'm going to get as far as this bright pink, and also this one. Yeah, I tell you, so much fun. And if you say, hey, I don't have that many minis, what I did a long time ago is I actually purchased yarns in these stashes on Ravelry, hand-dyed yarns, sock yarns, fingering weight. And then I just did swaps with people. And I mean, you can talk about that ahead of time, how much yarn you wanna give away or you wanna receive in the swap. It's no big deal. It's doable. Yeah. But then you heard me say it, that's not the end of it. So this was the first of my cast-ons. And then I mean, for this one, I didn't really dig into my stash, but I have 2 bins with really wonderful hand-dyed yarns. And there's big stickers on the outside of the bins, and the stickers say best hand dyed. So there's one box that has 2 of my favorite dyers, and the other one has, it doesn't mean it's less good, but it's the 2-ply yarns and the singles yarns, because you cannot always combine them up. Sometimes I do, but not always, and that's why I divided them up like that. And yes, and so I wanted to pull out my stash, and that's what I did, and I had so much fun. I do that probably twice a year. I do that probably twice a year, that I pull out these 2 bins and spread out the yarns and see what comes. And in this case, I thought, well, I have this thought that I would like to make this shawl. And this is a shawl that has a lot of projects, I want to say about 50. And so you can see it in different color combinations, because trust me, this, not at all for me. If you know me, you can imagine, yes, not my jam. But even on the pattern page, you see this in different colors. Oh, let me see real quick if there's, oh no. Yeah, no, you have to go to the pattern page on Ravelry and take a look. But now I want to show you what I picked, which is, and oh yes, important. When I have a shawl like this that's asymmetrical, where especially when it ends with a solid color, as this one does, when I do my color planning, this is where I start. What do I want at the end? Which yarn, which color do I want to be, bam, in your face? And in this case, I chose this one. I wanted a turquoise. I haven't mentioned that yet, but our Ike passed away recently. He was very sick, and so we put him to sleep at home, and so it always still makes me sad when I find cat hair occasionally, like I just did. Makes me think of him. I miss my boy, my snuggle boy, especially right now when it's just me and my son in the house, and sometimes when he goes out and it's just me at home, I'm especially miss the cats. Yes, so, but back to the knitting. So then this is going to be the middle color. And by the way, I have a new ball winder. I bought an electric one off of Amazon. I thought, I'm just going to try it. If it's crap, I'm just going to send it back. But it's amazing. Look at the beautiful ball of yarn, the shape, and it's so dense. Oh, I love it. But this probably is 150 grams. We're going to double check in a second. This is my old ball winder. And this is the third color that I have started with. Also done with my new ball binder. Oh, I love it. So pretty. The yarn and the ball of yarn. So let me grab my glasses if I find them. Hello. I had them just a minute ago, and here they are. Okay, what do I have here? Many years ago, I stopped at Wollmeise in Germany at their store, and I went a little bit loony and bought way too much yarn. But that's okay, because that's what we do, and this is how we roll. And this is a Wash Spatz and Wollmeise. Man, I always forget what this is. Oh, this is also 150 grams. Their labels are very complicated. You read it and make sense of it. What is that even? Merino with superwash, okay. Superwash merino. 70 WO, okay, that's gotta be merino, I assume, wool for sure. But what is 20% WS? 10% PA, I'm sure that's some kind of a nylon synthetic fiber, but yeah. I knew that at some point when I bought this, but by now I forgot. It's probably cashmere. It's very, very soft. Now this one I have purchased in Alaska, and this one has 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And it's, like I said, 150 grams, 600 yards. And it is, I got it in 2022. It was dyed by the Northern Bee Studio. Yeah. And I got it from a store called the Woolly Mammoth. And I'm super happy to knit this up now. This one I got at the yarn store at Nob Hill. Yes, this is Ancient Stash from 2017, 8 years ago. Wow. And it is Wonderland Yarns. Queen of Hearts. Now, I do not know what Queen of Hearts means, but it definitely has the same fiber content as this. 80-10-10 with cashmere, and it's 4 ounces, 410 yards, a year in color. This is January. Oh, sorry, I showed you the wrong ball of yarn. This is January. That's why it has a number 117, probably because I bought it in 2017. Yes, hand dyed by Frabjous Fibers. Okay, I thought it was hand dyed by one. Now I'm confused yet again. Wonderland Yarns, Queen of Hearts. What pigments of imagination, and also on top of that, Frabjous Fibers. Who they dye a lot of spinning fibers. I do know that. So, and you're gonna say, show us. I am knitting this with 4mm needles. By the way, also the Sunset Shawl. I call it sunset. The sun also sets. Sunset. Okay, and all of these, none of these are up on Ravelry yet. Neither is the third one, which is going to come in a second. But yes, let's enjoy this glorious pattern. Praise, seriously. Praise also for my beautiful stitch marker made by a friend in Germany. This pattern I cast maybe when I did the I-cord cast on I-cord here. I-cord, what is it called? I-cord tab. I probably pushed it in the way back in the very last corner of my brain because I hated doing it so much. But I did it, and it looks good actually. Right? What do you think? Looks good? Yeah, I think so. And then everything else. So I have never done anything like this, the way this is done. I mean, similar, but not like this. And I think I want to tell you two things. For one, this is gorgeous. Two, the way this is written, it reminds me in a way of the Magnolia shawl, the way that pattern was written. Incredibly precise. And no question stays unanswered that you may have. You just stick to what she wrote. And I love that. I love it very much. I have a lot of admiration for that. I also have a lot of admiration for the name here, the Moody Knitter. Is that the designer's handle? Which is great because a lot of times when I'm in my dye studio, I'm thinking, oh my God, did this colorway look the same the last time I dyed it? And I want to call myself the Moody Dyer. Yeah, because a lot of times things turn out differently depending on the mood of the day. And that's understandable, right? All right, so we have a pattern with 0 projects. And I hope that some of you feel inclined to show this lady some love and maybe knit this also. I was talking to a friend and she said, oh, I'm always suspicious when there is no patterns. But in this case, I really felt like it's the pictures. You need good pictures that show off the way the thing looks like when it's done. And you have a hard time seeing that in this case. So, and then there's, of course, as a result, no project photos because nobody knits it. So it's a vicious cycle. Okay, enough of that. You got me. So, and now, grand finale. So I finally started something. It's going to be huge. This baby is going to be huge. And I have wanted to make this for a very long time. And in the spur of the moment, I bought the pattern and I'm like, Doug, are you so stupid? I think this was in one of the Lina magazines that I own, but whatever. Dear Caitlin Hunter, you wrote a beautiful pattern and whatever. I just got you another cup of coffee because I have finally, after wanting to make this for a very long time, I have purchased the Terrell pattern. Yes. This was one of the things that I was throwing my yarns around for, and it takes 3 skeins of yarn. And yet again, you see the lace section is going to be quite prominent, and so that's where I started my color choice from. And but I had nothing. I had nothing that I could use because I have so many speckled yarns. So what did I do? I chose the other two yarns for the stripes, and yet again I happily used my beautiful new electric ball winder that I want to put in my storefront on Amazon, because I have a storefront. I don't even know what I get if anybody chooses something that I kind of promote through Amazon. I have no idea how it works, but I did it. I did a storefront. I just did not add my electric ball winder yet. But I can tell you that sucker was only $58 or so, maybe even 55. Yeah, no regrets so far. I wound probably by now 35 skeins of yarn. Pretty cool, right? So these two, yes, love them. What do you think? Aren't they amazing together, right? So what are they? You must have seen at least this one not too long ago, because I got it in Virginia last year. And I have no idea how that's pronounced. Chessium yarn? No clue. And Ain't It Sad Merino Sock. I don't know if Ain't It Sad, is that the colorway name? No. Don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, that was this one. And then, glorious this, I have purchased that at Colorful Yarns in south of Denver in Littleton, which is, by the way, probably my most favorite yarn store of all times that I have ever visited, because they have almost all hand-dyed yarns. So beautiful when you go in there. It's very overwhelming, so gorgeous. Hold on. In my excitement, I threw the tag. Yes. And this is another favorite. Stitch Together Studio yarn. And this is a Stitch Smooth Sock. It's just a very common base, 463 for yards for 100 grams, 75, 25 superwash merino nylon, and which is, by the way, the same as the Chessia yarn. And the colorway is called Unspoken Lies. And I have to tell you, I have a small collection of these yarns, and every time I knit up a skein of her yarns, I tell you, she's my favorite with no, I'm spacing out on my other favorite, Hedgehog and Stitch Together. They're my favorite yarn dyers. That's just the way it is. I love a lot of other hand-dyed yarns, but if you force me to pick favorites, that's my favorites. This is my other yarns that she has dyed are brighter, but it doesn't matter. I mean, in this case, I thought, yeah, let's do something a little bit different from your normal thing. And I probably myself have dyed similar yarns. It's actually called Underdog, a colorway that I haven't dyed in a very long time. I should dye it up again. Okay, and then you're gonna say, what is your third color? Of course, I could beautifully do some kind of an orange cayenne earthy color that picks up this, but I was in the mood I was thinking more like pink. Of course, straight out pink wouldn't work, so I did some layering where I started off with an orangish color and then slapped some pinkish magenta berry color over it, and I think that's gonna work beautifully. Show you all of these guys together. How can I do that? Yes, there you go. Yes, I think it's gonna be really great. That was a lot of blah blah before you even saw any of my knitting, and here it comes with 3.5 millimeter needles. And it's funny, well, the spine, the way the spine is created is for the Terral Dago on the right side, whereas for the sunset shawl, you do some magic on the right side and on the wrong side. So hopefully this is not gonna get me too confused once I'm working on it. There is one thing where I have to say, isn't it pretty? Sorry, I just kind of admire it for a moment. I only started this last night, you guys. Late too, probably it was already 9:30. Oh, it's so pretty. Love working with these colors. Yeah, there is one thing that bothers me a little bit, that's I feel like somebody as famous as a designer as she is, she could have put some instructions on how you get a beautiful edge for, especially, with the stripes. Why not? Tell your people, give your people some instructions on how to do that. So I am twisting my yarns. I can tell you, I don't know if that's a good way or the right way, but I do want a neat edge. So because this color, you do 4 rows. I'm not giving away anything because you can see that. So there's 4 and 2. So after 2 rows, I'm also doing crossing my yarn with the darker color. And what I'm doing is in between those 4 rows, I cross, I think, clockwise, but when I switch the 2 yarns, when I switch the 2 colorways, I think I switch counterclockwise. That was what I just tried and what I thought looks okay and looks best. Yeah, I wish there was something in the pattern. Yeah, but you cannot have it all. So we go from 0 projects to 50 projects to, I believe, 1,500. Yeah. Yes, and it's kind of funny. I talked to a friend the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I like that so much, but I don't know about the color work in there." And I've always been hesitant about that too. Oh yes, here it is. That's the shawl in a different colorway for pattern support. Well, you could ask Caitlin Hunter, how am I supposed to switch colors? Well, here you see the color work, and it's funny because my friend said, oh, she always thought it would be weird to do flat color work. I'm not too worried about that, but also the thought of having the strands on the back of the shawl, that always was a little bit, that always made me feel like, oh, do I really want to do that? Is there another photo? No. Yeah, well, I'll manage these few rows to knit them flat, and also I will be okay with the floats. Oh, there is, by the way, the shawl has bubbles somewhere, and that's kind of cute that she says, oh, you don't have to make the bubbles, which, oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do my own thing, which would have been no bubbles anyways. Yes. So, and now I have shown you everything, and yes, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you again soon. And the next episode is going to be the episode about the yarns that I've spun before the Tour de Fleece and then throughout the Tour de Fleece, and also rug hooking. Yes. Be well and happy knitting. Bye.